Hi students, so what you're going to do today is you are going to take notes on hypotenuse leg congruence. So this is our fifth way that we can identify whether or not two or more triangles are congruent to one another. So I want to start off by going over the parts of a right triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my right triangle right here. Here's my right angle. So one of the main parts of the right triangle is known as the hypotenuse, and this side is directly across from the 90-degree angle. Okay, so the hypotenuse is the side directly across from the 90-degree angle, which is the longest side. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. So we have our hypotenuse, which is right here. And again, that is the side directly across from the 90-degree angle, and it's also the longest side. So the other thing I want to introduce to you today, and we'll talk more about this as we move along in geometry, is this symbol right here. And this symbol is known as theta. It's a Greek letter that mathematicians often use to indicate an angle measure. Okay, so theta also marks where the opposite leg is and the adjacent leg. So the opposite leg is across from theta. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write this out. So the opposite leg, the side directly across the angle theta. Okay, and then that also indicates, theta also indicates where the adjacent leg is going to be, which is the side next to the angle theta. Okay, so adjacent is going to be right here, so it's the adjacent leg or side of the right triangle, and it's right next to where theta is. Okay, so the adjacent leg, and then we have the opposite leg. Okay, so the main thing that I want to make sure that you guys understand today is that this only works for right triangles. So this only works for right triangles. So if you try to apply any of this material to triangles that do not have a 90-degree angle within them, this information wouldn't make any sense. You wouldn't use it. And I just realized I spelled hypotenuse wrong right here, so just make sure you put an E there. Okay, so the next main part is we want to prove that these two triangles are congruent, right? So like we used the flow chart in class, here is my two bubbles, right? And all we need is a leg, and we just need the hypotenuse. Well, we're given that, angle Y and angle E are essentially right angles. And then we're told that HY is congruent to EL. So that is our leg. So HY is congruent to EL. And we're told that HP is congruent to LG. Well, that's our hypotenuse. So HP is congruent to LG. And again, remember, these are given statements. So therefore, by definition, triangle HYP is congruent to triangle LEF. G by hypotenuse leg congruence. Okay, so if you need to pause this video to take notes, I suggest you do so here. And if you're done, go ahead and go to the next page. We do have quite a few notes to take there as well. Okay, so the last main thing is the corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So where and when can we use it? So if two triangles are congruent, then each corresponding side and corresponding angle are congruent. Okay, so essentially now instead of trying to say, well, because this side and this side and this angle are the same, then they have to be congruent. Now we're saying, well, the triangles are congruent, therefore this side and this angle are the same, right? So it's almost, you almost think of it as it's working backwards. So, we can only use this once we prove the triangles are congruent. Okay, so that's the other main thing. We can only use this once the triangles are proven congruent. So here, this is the given information. So we're given that the two triangles are congruent. So SR is congruent to TG, okay, by, and we could just abbreviate this theorem as CPCTC. The whole name of it is right here. Obviously, you wouldn't want to write that out. That's really long. Okay. So our last part, our practice, right, is we want to prove that these two sides are congruent, right? So we're given that xj is congruent to hi and that xj is parallel to ih, okay? So one thing to consider is, well, we also know that, this side also has to be congruent because it's the same side, right? So we're actually going to use side angle side property, and you'll see why in just a moment. So I have SAS for my side angle side. So we know that I am given xj is congruent to hi, and that's given to us. And for my other side, well, we already identified that they share a side. So hj is congruent to hj by reflexive property. Okay. And then for our angle, right, we want side angle side. So our angle would be this angle right here, right? And we know this to be true because those lines are parallel. Therefore, those angles are alternate interiors. So angle xjh is congruent to angle ihj, and these are alternate interior angles. So by definition, now we've established that these two triangles are congruent. So triangle JXH is congruent to triangle HJI by side angle side, which means, right, because remember we were trying to prove that these two sides right here are congruent. So now we could say, well, XH is congruent to JI by CPCTC. Okay, so if you need to watch this video again, please do so. It's the same concept in that you are using your theorems that you've been working on over the last few weeks to prove triangle congruency and whatnot. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Once you're done, go ahead and just work on these practice problems. Make sure you read the directions, and if you need any help, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.